What's going on, guys? Here's the video on how to basically make a rope go under and above certain features. I did this with a chain, but it's a little bit different, or quite a bit different when you're doing a rope. I already created the anchor and then a very basic rope here. So what I do is I use these vectors here, and I put them in spots like if you look at the picture that was requested, it closed up on me. Sorry, my voice is completely screwed right now too. Let's save that. So that was the anchor I kind of mocked up, but here it's gonna have to go under, over, under, over, under, and then looks like over again. So what I do is I take it, select the vector, go to your create shape, and then I use that option. And you're going to want to do the rope in a separate component level, or yeah, it's called level. Because if you don't, it's going to affect, I'll show you if I do it in the wrong level. You're not going to want to use any base height either, and you're going to want to use this smooth profile on the edges, so it's not a sharp edge when it does it and blends it more. But this is what happens when you put it in the wrong one. It's going to affect, or if you have them in the same level like the rope with the anchor, it's going to affect both of them. So obviously don't do that. So you're going to highlight that one, make sure it's selected, go back. And then see, it looks like it's going underneath of it now, or visually. And you can set that to be more. Probably don't want to preserve internal corners because it'll make them sharp. That looks pretty good there. And you can make pretty quick work of it. I kind of try setting these vector squares or rectangulars on the center line here. And when I created this rope, I just made this basically a spline, and then used the offset here on it. So I just click it and use both, and then offset it 1/4 inch or 1/8 of an inch on both sides, and then I came and put a half circle end on it. But we'll just continue doing this. So we'll keep it on this option to make it go up instead of down. And you may have to drag it out because it looks kind of weird right there. So give it a little less of a peak. But one thing I was talking about dragging it out is, so you're gonna have to get out of that and then basically make this larger. It's kind of screwy. But you got to be careful. On the smooth one, it's basically gonna ramp down on like a curve instead of just going really steep. So you won't notice as much as if you get into this feature. You can run these into each other and it's not really visible if you do it right. But see, that looks a lot better. So I would do a much better job of this, and I didn't put any texture on the rope either. I'm just trying to show you how to do this. So that one needed to go under, which it basically, the way I set it up to begin with, it's already underneath there. So this portion right here has to go above. And we'll do just like we did before, maybe bring this out a little bit. See how that looks. Probably want some more height to it. Maybe a little bit more. I try, I try using nominal numbers like 9/32, 7/32, quarter inch, all that kind of stuff. Because I usually design everything around 12 inches in size, and then I know like how to put everything in a certain height, and I don't have to like use different numbers every time. I mean, they don't always work, but it just works to use the same, numbers. If you get what I'm saying, um, every time, then you just know what, oh, this will work at this height. And then when you go to smooth these, like I had that little sharp point right there, you can just get rid of the preserve transparency and it'll get rid of it. Or you can, for the most part, you can come in afterwards, use the sculpting tool, and then it's not going to affect this, but it's going to affect this little shape that you created. So I can go all on that, and it's not going to do anything to it other than this shape here because it's isolated to it. And that was a nice thing about the update is it shows the whole model. Before it would just look like that when you did it, and you wouldn't know until you clicked out of there, okay, how it was going to look. So that was a really good feature in one of the updates that they did not too long ago. So that one needs to go under. So that looks pretty good there. And then this one needs to go over. I need to go up a little bit more. It's kind of want like this is like where your line is to judge where you need to be on this surface. You might want to be even with it or maybe a little bit higher. So I think on this one what we need to do is reset that. We're gonna have to pull it out some. So that looks pretty good there. You can see that line right there. That's how I do it anyways. And then that's basically your rope. And you come back in or do it beforehand, but add your textures or however you set up your rope. I do it a certain way. I don't ever create it as a solid line like this. But I think I showed that in another video on my YouTube channel. You can look that up. It's how to create a rope design. But yeah, that's how I do it. I'll post this to the Facebook group here in a minute.